Hello there, who are you?
Hello Mona and hello everyone. My name is Denis Valášek. I'm a voice developer, co-founder at Yadayada, and a Google developer expert for the Google Assistant.
Nice to meet you, but why are you speaking on this topic?
Well, because TV and voice are great hobbies of mine, and this is a really nice way how to combine them. So grab some popcorn and get ready. By the way, how come you are speaking?
I am speaking thanks to talking heads from rosebud.ai.
Oh, super cool. So what do you got for me?
First, I would like to know what problems we will be discussing today.
There are two main points I would like to discuss today. The first one is voices being totally overpowered in movies and TV series. We are talking like Ultron, supercomputers on spaceships that fulfill every task. Text to speech is perfect, speech to text as well. Nobody makes any mistakes in the pronunciation. Everything is understood correctly, and when it's not, it's a huge part of the plot. So, not what we are experiencing today. This sets up totally unrealistic expectations in the minds of the viewers of what voice can do today. And that's of course a problem. And then on the completely other side of the spectrum, we got what voice can do today. And that's being taken as a joke in some of the TV series and in some of the movies, where it's been mostly portrayed that these things can do basically nothing, and then why use them? And that's obviously not good for our industry, so let's talk about that.
Is there any good way to categorize AI, voice assistants, and robots?
Sure, so for the purpose of this talk, let's set up three categories. We got our voice assistants: Google Assistant, Alexa, Siri, and so on. What do we have today? Voice assistants. Also, we got robots or droids. I would categorize them as something that has really good programming and most of the time doesn't want to kill you or end the world. So that's like R2D2, C3PO, and yeah, basically really good programming, doesn't have in mind that it needs to take over the world. And then we got the AI, that stuff that's going to take over the world. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So for the purpose of this talk, we are going to use these terms.
Okay, next question. Can you tell me why are droids in Star Wars not perceived as evil?
Wow, my favorite universe tried to restart. Thank you very much. There are many good points on this topic, but let me mention just a few. First one is that even though droids have been the big bad for some of the movies, they are not really evil. They are comically evil, and there is a slight difference between those. Next point is that the two main droids that we see throughout the movie, C3PO and R2D2, have each really good personality, and also they have formed real connections with the main characters. C3PO with his silly remarks, and R2D2 with his cute beeps. What's not to laugh? But I could talk about Star Wars for like next 24 hours. What else do you got for me?
Are there any good examples of voice assistants being well integrated into a TV show or a movie?
Yes, one of the shows that portrays modern assistants really well is Modern Family, and that's actually also the reason why I got and started working on this topic, because in one of the episodes they have a product placement for the Google Assistant, and it's quite a small part in the episode but really funny, where one of the characters just says something, "Hey G, do this," and Google Assistant actually does it, and like there's a big huge moment of surprise. And I think that was really well integrated. And the show also showcases, I think, a Facebook portal, some smart fridges that also have voice assistants. So they are actually coming back to the topics of voice assistants in regular families. And I think that's good, and we need more of that.
Sometimes, the AI can misunderstand us. What can that lead to?
We have all been there. We say something to our assistant, it just misunderstands us and returns a completely different result. But what will happen when we got something more advanced and something that can do more things? Are there any real problems that could happen when it just misunderstands us? I think a good example of that will be the movie 2001: Space Odyssey, where the computer HAL 9000 got nice directive, but misunderstanding that directive ended up really badly for the occupants of the ship without any more spoilers. So if you want to see what can possibly happen when you give the right command but it misunderstands you, go watch that.
What are some good predictions about how voice will look like today from the past?
One of the great predictions was actually on TV show Friends about 25 years ago. Let me quote. So, that's why within few years that voice recognition will be pretty much standard on any computer buy. So you can be like, wash my car, clean my room. Of course, it won't be able to do those things, but it will understand what you are saying. Well, I think we are fulfilling that prediction pretty well. Voice recognition is pretty much standard on any computer or device you buy. It's not being used on any computer or device that you buy, but that's a problem for the future. For washing your car, I don't think that's an option yet. Feel free to prove me wrong. And for cleaning my room, that's pretty successful with something like iRoom integration or something like that. So yeah, good job us, we are fulfilling the future. Another good example is Jarvis from the Iron Man movies. I think Jarvis hooked many generations, and me for example, on the idea of voice assistants and how cool would it be to just say something and it will happen and help you to interact with your home and with your environment. But we are sadly a little bit far away from Jarvis being a complete reality, but hopefully soon.
Is voice being accurately represented in today's TV?
Yeah, that is a really tricky question because it heavily depends on what we are watching. If we are watching some TV sitcoms, chances are voices being represented adequately well there. But if we are watching some kind of sci-fi from the future, sadly we are not there yet. So keep that in mind while we are watching, and perhaps do some reality checks with your friends whilst we are watching, because it's really funny when you say, hey G, and then something, it really can do that, something. Fun activity, party recommended.
What is in the way of us having the same voice experience as in the movies?
That's a really cool but also really hard question. To mention just a few points, in the movies they have like perfect speech to text. Whenever the people say, the virtual assistant understands them, like there is no misunderstanding about what was being said to what is being done, apart from where that's the obvious point of the joke. The perfect speech synthesis is another good point, but we are getting at least closer to that. And to the last, the perfect context understanding. Do that, show me that picture, bring that to the screen. It's just a small example of sentences that will be really hard today, but in the movies they are really easy, and I think that's just a slight bit that we need to get at least a bit further in our voice assistant journey.
What movies would you recommend to watch with a focus on voice?
I got you covered. So apart from the mentioned like Space Odyssey, Star Wars and Iron Man, you can for example watch Her or Ex Machina if you want to focus on the connection between a human and the virtual assistant, the relationship, intimacy and so on. And also if you want to just watch some sci-fi, Star Trek is always a good choice. And if you want to really shut off your brain for a bit, then you can watch Jixi, which is a movie about a man with a virtual assistant on his phone, and it's sometimes funny, and it's especially funny if you are coming from the voice world.
What's the weirdest assistant that you have seen in a movie?
On the top of the list for possible replies to this question is for me the magic mirror from the movie Snow White. Just because most of the people would not consider it to be a smart home element or like virtual assistant, and that's the beauty of it. On the other part, there are many people who have tried to build a voice assistant inside their mirrors and were successful. So I think this is a viable strategy of from what we have seen in the movies to be built onto the real life.
Thanks for the chat. Do you have a conclusion?
Thank you for the questions. Just one small note, keep building, or maybe two, keep building great things, and please don't build something that will destroy the earth. Thanks for watching, and I will see your questions in the chat. Bye.